Alrighty then. How we doing today? Hopefully you can hear me 5x5. I think I, I think I need to change my good deal. All right, thanks, John. So what's been exciting? What's been going on? I know for me, I have been working on Aurora again. Got a couple things left to do. And maybe Thursday will be another part in building Aurora. So I've already got something else in line for Tuesday, all ready to go. But it is nice to be able to run trains again. One of the things in the line, in the queue, as the Brits would say, is these bi-level commuter cars. When I bought those 2 years ago, it had always been my dream to have some. And the only ones I ever found growing up were kits, very expensive kits to build, and really beyond my limited talents back in my early years. But I always wanted them. Then when I saw the Cato ones, or Cato, 2 years ago when I started the retirement railroad back up, I said, hey, I got to have these. So I bought 4 of them, 3 coaches and 1 cab coach, just on the end. Yeah, I really like those. My dad rode those every day, twice a day actually, into Chicago and back out. So used to pick them up at the local train station, and which was only 6 blocks away. But anyway, could have walked. But anyway, my mom would pick them up, or I'd pick them up. My brother, whoever could drive at that point in time. So anyway, and it was on the Burlington route, and only one person, right, in these 2 years of running those coaches, has pointed something out, very obvious. All right, and it's those have the Amtrak, early Amtrak striping on them. Well, Amtrak didn't have those, at least not in Chicago. Those are commuter cars, and Amtrak did not run the commuter train program. It was originally the RTA, Regional Transit Authority. CTA had the L-Tracks, RTA took over the commuter service, and eventually it was renamed to Metra, and incorporated a larger 5 county area around Chicago. But hey, Rick, the race is on. I saw that contest update from Ray. It'll be interesting. I'm already subscribed to you both, so I can't help either of you. Anyway, these commuter cars, Burlington, when Metra or RTA took over, Burlington said no. We make money on this. One of the few that did, and so they maintain the operating rights for the commuter cars. Now, even though RTA or then Metra had the legal responsibility, and it was weird. So what ended up happening was the Burlington kept the operating rights under the Metro name. So if you go to Chicago today, out to any one of the southwestern suburbs, and you look at those cars, even though they're labeled Metro, you'll also find BNSF labeling on them. All right, and which also makes the Burlington, all right, the longest running passenger service, continual passenger service in the country. Hey, Dwight, welcome. So, but that's here nor there. That's just another little tidbit history lesson. Like anybody really cares besides me. But these have the Amtrak stripes on them. Last week, y'all may recall, I got the new airbrushing set in, and so the goal is, now that I have that, to strip off use of IPA and strip off those Amtrak stripes, and then reprime them and paint them silver, decal them up under Burlington. Hey, good morning, Bernard. And decal them to the Burlington and do some detailing on them. And when I say detailing, is put light kits in them and passengers. So, good morning, Lynn. So that's what the long-term plans are for those bi-level cars. And I'll probably be starting on them as soon as I finish up Aurora. Although I do want to make another scene. Let's see. Let me change cameras. Once again, where's the camera I want to change? Right here. All right, that scene there behind the interlocking tower up there on that plateau. I got that Mini Prince mobile home and the pickup truck on blocks and a bunch of other little tidbit stuff. I'm going to put a hunting scene up there, either hunting or hillbilly scene up there on the top of that, and put a bunch of trees and so forth. So I don't know what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to start that or start the commuter cars. Not sure. Plus, I got to put together a 2-year progression. This month marks my 2nd year of building the retirement railroad. So I've got to do a layout update type situation video showing the progression of the retirement railroad. I want to have Aurora done before I start on that. So many things. Moonshine still. Yeah, that's a possibility too. If Bernard of Mini Prince will make a moonshine still, I'll put it in there. That would be pretty cool. Although you didn't find many, I never heard of any moonshine stills in Illinois. Speakeasies, back in the day, 30s. And there's a lot of bootlegging and bringing in from Chicago. In the 60s and 70s, the big thing to bootleg was Coors beer, Colorado. We used to make, in high school, we used to make runs over to Davenport, Iowa, because on the other side of the Mississippi River, you could get Coors beer. You couldn't get it in Illinois. There's no place to hide a still in Illinois. Very few forests. Flat as a pancake. Northern Illinois is flat as a pancake. Everybody complains about, or makes jokes about how flat Kansas is. Newsflash. North Central Illinois is flatter. And and the fields are plowed. You put them out in summertime. You put them out in the middle of a cornfield, I guess. But what do you do in the wintertime when there's no corn? So. Yeah, but Rick, I'm retired. I can spend a couple hours a day or an hour a day. All right, and that's more than you get to spend in a month. All right. Well, that didn't come out right. An hour a day in a week, that's 7 to 8 hours. That's all you get to put in maybe one day. Maybe. So. Turn 3 in Middle Georgia. I don't know what that is. No, Middle Georgia. I lived in South Georgia for 5 years. I know the underground in Atlanta. I just don't get the turn 3. All right, Dwight. In your basement. If you take a close look at that picture, right at the bottom, you'll see railings. Want a quick peek on what I'm working on as far as Aurora. Let's switch over to this camera. And let me swing it around. If you look right here, let me get on the other side. Right here, you can see the scene break, the bridge. All right, and it's the piers and everything are in place, but it's held down, all right, by magnets. All right. And I mean, those neodymium magnets work like a charm. I'll zoom in on that. Meow. I still have to fix the light posts. So, and I got to smooth it down for the road surface, paint, all kinds of stuff there. Hey Heath, welcome, welcome. Yes, that is an ISE motorman. Matter of fact, I want to get another ISE motorman, but I don't need it yet for the trolley line and around that will run around Union Station. That's a year or so off. He's goofing off even when he's working. What do I have connected to the motorman? I have. Man, I thought I was done talking about that little guy. Let me swing around. I'll show you. I have a little Plymouth switcher. Little Plymouth switcher and a my big belly. Yeah. See a little red switcher right there? There he goes. And he's on a 30-second delay at each end. So you won't see him again here for a minute. I couldn't agree more, Keith. I've looked at those and looked at those, and then you had your demo on it versus the Circuitron AR1, and then that other one. And I think between for the AR1 was about $50. So for another $50, you get far more flexibility. The ISE, you get the ability for intermittent start points. It'll run DC, DCC, and you can switch back and forth. I went ahead and got the extra plate where I can switch over to normal. And when I do the trolley line, I'm going to put an additional double pole, double throw switch in so I can switch back and forth from DCC to DC, and then use the controller to switch from the automatic motorman to manual control, either DCC or DC. Hey, Joe. Never late. I know, Bernard. That little thing. I am so impressed with it. Like I said, I was so impressed I went and bought a second one. And I think Heath said it last week or so. It's about the size of an N scale. It's so tiny. Middle Georgia racetrack. I did not know that, Rick. So that's not the same as the Atlanta Motor Speedway. I wonder where was the Middle Georgia Raceway, because Middle Georgia Fairgrounds is in Perry. Hey, Chasco. Yeah, little switcher guy just keeps going back and forth. I'm toying with the idea of putting a soundtrack, sound car decoder in that cement hopper that little guy is push pulling around. And in that way, I would have a sound decoder for that little loco as well. Oh, and Byron, okay. Yeah, I know exactly where Byron is. Just north of 10, 12 miles north of Perry, up by Warner Robins. Yeah, I live 45 miles south of there, down in Cordele, gateway to South Georgia. And trust me when I say everything people say about or insinuate about South Georgia, it's true. It's so true. Oh, I weathered up the Aurora station too. Let me show that. Right here. I got my yellow paint pins in and put the yellow caution markings down, and it was so bright yellow. Came in and did some severe weathering on the platform. I get those days where I just want to piddle on something, you know, little thing here, little thing there. Yep, that's why they call it. That's why one of the biggest lumber companies in the country is Georgia Pacific. Tall Georgia pines. Yeah, you know, you can sell your timber rights to people, to lumber companies, and for big money. They'll come in and harvest your trees, and then they'll replant. Should we start our first mail call? We'll do our first mail call and rant. How's that? Okay. Now, I already talked about working on these bi-level commuter cars. Okay, how I got to strip off the Amtrak striping and prime them up and then detail them. Okay, so the first thing, you know, I got, you know, last week I got in my new compressor and airbrush kit, so I don't have to use that little handheld thing, which is still good for portability, but limited airflow and so forth. So anyway, I needed some primer, and I needed something to hold my paints, and I wanted to start collect the detailing stuff for the cars. And I already have, and I got to dig them out here. I already got a bag seeded. Well, I guess it would help if I changed cameras where you could actually see what I'm talking about. I already got a bag full of seeded people, so that'll get me through one or two cars. Get me started. And I've got my 99% IPA to strip off the paint and stripes. So I went ahead and I ordered the primer. Okay. So it came in, and it's Vallejo gray primer. So that's one of the mail trains. And if you noticed on the title card, opening card, whatever you want to call it, opening picture, it's all the same mail train, because I ordered three things. Three things. One of those things I ordered four of. All right. And I got the primer. So that was the first mail train. Okay. And I'll start with my rant. I got two little rants. The first is, you'll see, I'm reading, I'm trying to get caught up. All right. He's only been to Atlanta. Well, Byron is hour and a half south of Atlanta Airport. Hour and a half south of Atlanta Airport. Da-da-da. This is my Friday uniform, dating back, Heath, to when you did the Friday at 11:30 show. I recall. That's when I got this uniform for that show. It was the Blame Heath show. So I'm carrying on the tradition. Now, where was I? Something about a rant. Okay. So, doing a Heath here and trying to segue, install, and drag it out. Why is it so dirty? What do you mean dirty? It's not dirty. Oh, yeah, it is. Spilled my lunch on it. It was clean. When I put it on this morning, it was clean. Oh, no, you never drag them out. It just naturally takes you 2 hours. I just got my notification that I'm live with a little rant. Now it's my lunch. So anyway, my rant. First one. You know how when you order something, some things from Amazon, it'll say same day delivery, right? With, you got to meet some criteria. Or it'll say next day, 1 day delivery if you meet certain criteria. And I think it's like $35. What they don't tell you is all the items that you add up into that order, the only ones that count are the ones that have the same deal. Yeah. Of 30, you order $35, you get it same day or next day, whatever they say. Otherwise, you're going to get 2 days or 3 days or whenever. So those are little tidbits they don't really tell you. I can't count the number of times I've ordered stuff same day delivery and it not until the next day, simply because one of the items I ordered was $20, and the other item I ordered was $20, but only one of those items had the deal of same day delivery if you order over 35. So the other one didn't count. So. One more year to get wifey to retire. All right. Anyway, that's my one rant. Just because they say same day or next day, that's not a done deal. Even if you think you're making their requirements. They have all the little caveats. I guess I should turn a train on. Should I turn a train on? I've gotten stuff quicker from China than I've gotten from eBay. Not eBay, Amazon. If it's small coming from China, like just some LED bulbs, and it can go in the mail versus package, you can get that kind of stuff really quick. Hey, hi. Hi. What rant did you miss? Oh, I was just complaining about Amazon. And don't get me wrong, I think Amazon's a great service. You just, like Amazon or eBay, either one, you have to look at your total landed costs. You might be able to find something cheaper on eBay than from Amazon, than from the store. But when you add up the additional shipping charges to get it to you, it's not always such a good deal. So I will always look at total landed cost. Landed meaning to my doorstep. It's never Heath's fault. That's true. He does, doesn't he, Chasco? The other night he was saying he would have had it unboxed if somebody had an answer to ask a question. I seem to recall that. I've been trying to stay up longer, at least till 9 o'clock. No, Bernard, I did not get it from Iron Planet Hobbies. I got it from Gulf Coast Model Trains in Sarasota, Florida. And they had one left. It was a orange one, unmarked orange one. So look up Gulf Coast Model Trains. Give them a call. Dave or Kelly. Dave's the owner. Kelly's the manager. Good people. Tell them I sent you, and they'll only charge you twice as much. As far as the Motorman, yes, I got it. No, I did not get it from Iron Planet. The only place you can get the Motorman is from Iowa Scale Engineering. Okay. So go to ISE, Iowa Scale Engineering. Look up Iowa Scale Engineering. They also have the Proto Throttle. Those are their two big things: the Motorman and the Proto Throttle. Proto Throttle looks pretty cool, and people that have got them love them. All right, because they're like the controls of a real locomotive. I'm not into that. I'm really, really happy using my old cell phones and Kindles. No, I don't have one, Heath. I do not have a Proto Throttle. I mean, like, they look really cool. Being the cheap bastard that I am, I have a hard time justifying $400, $500 for a throttle. Right? Just because it's got little levers and stuff on it versus, stuff on here. Like I say, somebody gave me one. Yeah, I'd love it. But am I going to spend that kind of money? No. Tactile buttons. You mean like push button type things? So they canceled your card, huh? And I understand that, Heath, tactile buttons. Yes. That is nice. And having, I forget what Digitrax's utility throttle number is. One of those would be nice. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I like, what is it? The new, I think you have one, the new TCS throttle, Heath. Didn't you get one of those? Wi-Fi enabled throttle. UT6D, UWT50. That's the one I'm thinking of, the TCS one. So you still like that? What's your favorite throttle, Keith? All around. If you're going to pick up a throttle to run trains, which one would you pick up and use? Okay, Rick. The only problem with my phones is, and it goes to Heath's point about tactile buttons. If you're not hitting the right spot, let's say you're watching the train, you're doing switching, all of a sudden you want it to stop, and you're not hitting it right on, then then it can be an issue. Well, she turns the power and stuff on to the retirement railroad. She controls the lights, the power to the railroad. She just does not control my trains, and she will never, ever control my trains because there's too many times where she goes nuts. Alexa, lights off. Bing. Alexa, lights on. Alexa, lights on. Okay. All right. Define a few times. Yes, I have. That was due to my stupidity, not hers. It really wasn't my stupidity. I just hadn't progressed. I got ahead of myself wanting to run trains before I had all the guards up. About the only time I use my Digitrax throttle is when I have to program a PM40 or PM42, whatever they're called, or I'm programming a Smail, because on a Smail, they are not polarity sensitive. In other words, if you switch the hot leads around, the white and red, it does not change the polarity of what it's doing. For instance, if you're using it to power up, because double pull, double throw, switch inside. If you're using it to power up a frog, and the power supply you reverse, it's not gonna change the polarity of that frog throw. You have to do that via programming, so I will use the throttle for that. But I'm done with that. So, I mean, I rarely use my Digitrax throttle. You know, it may be the most difficult piece. I don't know. The only thing I have to compare it to is that Digitrax one. And I prefer my phone over the Digitrax. Not to say I wouldn't like a UWT50 or even the Digitrax utility throttle, but here's the deal. These are cheap, and I'm a cheap SOB, okay? I had these lying around. So, and you can change them. You know, this one I've got set up in switching mode, where up is forward, down is reverse. And it just makes it easier to switch. You know, those Zephyrs for the money are a pretty good deal because it has the built-in computer hookup. You don't have to buy the separate PR4. And I have the ability of 3 different wireless alternatives. The duplex of the Digitrax controller is one. Wi-Fi via the PR4 to the computer and the home Wi-Fi system is 2. And then I also have the Digitrax Wi-Fi module that I can hook up to. Okay, so here's a question I have for the NCE guys. And not that I'm a big Digitrax proponent, because like I say, I don't use my Digitrax throttle. But how do you do extra throttles on an NCE if the throttle is also the command station? I'm sure there's a way, but are you not having to buy extra components? One of the things I hear NCE guys say is they don't have to buy all the extra components that somebody like Digitrax has to do. And I'm not sure that that is a viable point. Okay. So what kind of additional throttles do you use then, Heath? Do you have to use another power cab? And if so, then why isn't there a conflict? Is the UTP panel part of the original system, or do you have to pay extra for that? The Benford 5000? Yeah, but a power cab and a pro cab are a hell of a lot more expensive than a utility throttle for a Digitrax system, are they not? I mean, since they have the command station built into them. And then is there some kind of programming you have to do to make sure you're only using one of the command stations? The cab 6 is the NCE utility throttle? Okay. So it doesn't have everything that the pro cab or power cab have on it. All right. every time I club layouts, what I see, and maybe I'm just wrong, almost all club layouts are Digitrax. And the reason I started with Digitrax is because the local club layout was Digitrax, and if you wanted to run on the local club, you had to have a Digitrax throttle. Yeah, I've got the UR92, and then I've got two, which is the duplex port, but then I have two UP5s as well. So in those, I can plug in 5 between those easily. But then again, I'm wireless, so. And you'd play hell with 5 people in here. You wouldn't be able to move, I don't think. Yeah, it's everybody's personal preference. Like I say, I don't have anything against NCE. I don't know anything. I won't be critical of NCE just because I don't know about them. My Digitrax, I use JMRI and wireless throttles. To me, it doesn't matter. I like that word on the end there, High. Yet. We all need to work on Ray. Get Ray converted. Bernard, didn't you say you had a Zephyr? If you have a Zephyr, you could be wireless in a matter of minutes if you had the right cable. If you had a printer cable that you could run from your computer to your Zephyr, because I think the Zephyr, I'm not mistaken, the Zephyr has the port to connect the computer to. And then you download JMRI, get a wireless throttle, an old cell phone with Y throttle or engine driver, and you're in business. Like I say, if you have the cable and a Zephyr, you can be wireless in under an hour. If your Zephyr is close enough to a computer, whether it be a laptop or whatever, like I say, all you need is a USB printer cable. You run it from the computer to the Zephyr. Have JMRI and Y throttle enabled. Engine driver. If you got an Android phone. I bought my system right before Digitrax came out with the Zephyr. I've got the LN WI, and that was my first Wi-Fi system before I hooked up to the computer in JMRI, and it works fine. Okay, worked fine. It does not have the range that my router wireless in the house has. Plus, I'm not sure the connectivity. I don't think you can connect to the internet for remote operations using the LNWI. Not sure one way or another. I just don't think you can. Yeah, Bernard, shoot me an email. I'll send you my phone number if you want help with it. It is so relatively easy. My email's in my about, or shoot me your phone number and I'll call you. After my stream's over, of course. But it's not hard. Yeah, Y throttle through JMRI. Actually, I'm not even sure you need. Yeah, I guess you do. Trying to remember the sequence events, how I progress from one to another. What can be confusing. Raspberry Pi with Wi-Fi enabled, but isn't that Rick? Isn't that utilizing your home Wi-Fi? Doesn't the Raspberry Pi hook up to your home Wi-Fi? Because that's what my computer's hooked up. The what the hell am I trying to say? Raspberry Pi is just a small, limited computer. Whether you have your JMRI on it or on a regular computer, those have to hook into a Wi-Fi system, your home Wi-Fi, if I'm not mistaken. You're the computer guy, Rick. So the actual Wi-Fi, like my JMRI Wi-Fi, is not. It's the Wi-Fi of the house, so it's the range of the Wi-Fi of the house, and I would think the Raspberry Pi would be the same thing. It's hooked up the Wi-Fi of the house. It's not a direct connect. The LNWI is a direct connect. Okay, the Digitrax LNWI is a direct connect. It puts it's its own little Wi-Fi system. Sure, Bernard. Anytime. All right. If not today, tomorrow, whenever. I don't like raspberries, so when I heard, well, 2 years ago, I started building this thing, and I kept hearing people talking about Raspberry Pi. Had no idea what the hell they were talking about, other than a Raspberry Pi, and did not sound very appetizing to me. And the context that it was coming out in, I'm going, what the hell are they talking about? Finally figured out it was a limited handheld computer. So the Raspberry Pi hooked up. Okay, so it's a direct connect Cat5 cable from the Raspberry Pi to your gateway, or access to the rest of the network. Okay. I'm not sure I know what that means. See, my PR4 is hooked up to my LocoNet, which is PR4 is also then hooked up via the USB printer cable to my computer. The computer is hooked up to my gateway or wireless. And then my throttle goes through it. And you have to put the password to the wireless network and all that. Now, I can also hook up, I can change over the phone. Instead of being on the household network, I can switch it over to the Digitrax network here in the house from the LNWI. Matter of fact, let me see if I can show that. Bum, 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 bum. All right, let me see. Yeah, let's go this way. See that DTX1 blah blah LN server? That is the LNWI. So I can hook the phone in directly to that and do that route. That way it's not going through my home network. Okay, so it's doing the same thing as the Digitrax LNWI. Okay, I see what you're saying, Rick. It's the same process as the LNWI, the Digitrax module. Okay, same thing. A lot of cameras will do that. Put out its own SSID, so your phone connects directly to the camera. So you haven't had a computer for 2 years, Bernard? Holy crap! Sure, you've had access to the internet via phone though. Oh, so the Raspberry Pi can do its own SSID or connect to your home network. Okay. I like cake better than pie. There you go, Joe. There you go. Yeah, I don't even do that, Heath. I just use the, like I say, the LNWI, because that was before I had JMRI, and I wanted wireless. Shots are fired. Shots have been fired. There you go, Bernard. Hell, phones nowadays are 10 times better than my original computer. So, all right, we ready for another mail call? By the way, if you noticed, all the trains were the same train. Everything this week is from Amazon because none of my eBay stuff has arrived. Oh, somebody's dinging me. My neighbor. Oh. Okay. I got, a lot of you guys have this nice fancy work area and have all this room, and you have racks for your knives and all your paints and all this kind of stuff. Well, I don't have that. I don't have the room. I do have some drawers, etc. I got plenty of cabinet space, but I don't have a lot of room on this workbench. And when I need more room, I go out to the garage to my shop bench. Duck keys. Uh-oh. Guest network. Me neither. Hi, I'm not saying I have anything fancy. But I needed something to help me organize my paints because I had this like tackle box or toolbox thing. I just had all my paints thrown in there. And I decided, well, that's not any good. I still have a lot of paints and stuff in there. Paints that I've made up, custom stuff. But anyway, I needed something for my airbrush paints. So I got this little thing. And it'll hold 60 little things of paint, of airbrush paint. Ta-da! No, it didn't come with these paints. These are paints I already had. Thank you, Bernard. I like my cabinets too. So anyway, that was the next thing I got. And of course, this and the primer were both ordered at the same time from Amazon. And one arrived the same day, one arrived the next day. When they gave you the impression it would all be the same day. Thus the original rant. Yeah, I know how that goes too, Lynn. Speaking of which, all right. I haven't been able to find, I have 2 sets of tweezers, and I have not been able to find either sets of tweezers for over a week. And it's been driving me absolutely batshit crazy. Okay. So finally, I'm working on Aurora, and I needed something. I'm digging through one of the drawers over there, and way stuck in the back was my really good set of tweezers. I haven't seen these in 6 months. Well, now, Rick, I'd have to lose this whole thing. Okay. My neighbor keeps dinging me. He knows I'm busy. So anyway, I finally found this pair. So then, this morning, the pair of tweezers I always use, there's a drawer, a three drawer cabinet right down there. And in the bottom drawer, it's a deeper drawer. I'm digging around. What was I looking for? Looking for something. Anyway, these had fallen off the desk into the drawer. So now I have both sets of tweezers again. Yeah, you have multiple compressors because the first one went out. That's I have the little handheld one, and then I covered it in last week's mail call, but I also got. I think this is the same one you got originally that shot craps on you, Rick. It's one of those airbrushing kits. Comes with this and a bunch of other stuff. Three airbrushes, some regular paints, and then I also got the paint booth last week. Actually, a week before. I thought you did have multiple compressors, Rick. I thought the first one went out and you contacted the company and they sent you a better one as a replacement. Did they not? Did I dream that or what? Sarcasm. Okay. Hey, I'm a firm believer in having multiple things just in case. Yeah, my wife takes my stuff all the time. And I'll ask her if she's seen it. No, 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 no. And I'll go look in her cabinet and there it is. Whoop, there it is. It's only been an hour and 7 minutes, 40 seconds. Yeah, I got mine 15 minutes after I went live. They're right on top of things. I had a TIG. I had a welder, and I use it so infrequently. I finally took it to my son. He bought a house that has a big shop area. Took it up to him. I like that, Rick. Child-proof the house and they still get back in. That's kind of like I raised my kids that, if you go to college, you can live with you can live at home, all right, as long as you're in school. No, that's not how I put it. Until you graduate high school, unless you go to college, then you can live at home till you're done with college. Okay? And oldest one goes off to college, graduates, moves out. Okay, no problem. The next one comes along. We go to her commencement, all right? And commencement's over. We're standing around waiting to go out to dinner. And I said, well, what are you going to do now, Jody? And she said, well, I thought I'd come home. I said, no, you're not. I said, that's not part of the program. The koi are great, Eve. They're doing wonderful. And so my wife hit me. Listen to her, she said. I said, all right. So she said, well, Dad, I thought I'd come home for a year and so I could study to take the LSATs, all right, which is the legal the test you got to take to get into law school. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, you can do that. She came home and lived with us for a year and had a job and worked. And then she went off to law school. So, Anthony Dodge, did you ever make it out of the country? Last update I saw, you were still hanging in Windsor, Canada, trying to. Well, I guess you did make it out of the country. Did you make it off the continent? Heath wanted to. Oof. Let me switch cameras for Heath. That's the camera I want. There you go. There's one. There's two. Oh, that'd be cool. My middle daughter I was just talking about, the now attorney, she did a semester of foreign studies in London. And she took an architectural history class. Yeah, I am Ray. How you doing, Ray? She took an architectural history class. I said, Jody, why did you do that? It's the most boring class in the world, because I took 3 semesters of architectural history. And she goes, well, Dad, think about it. What better way to see London for free? I said, well, it's not free, honey, but yeah, I get your point. All right, now we get some trash talk going between Rick and Ray. Well, hi, you need to go to Arson, which is just north of Venlo. In I think it's August. They have one of the world's largest koi shows at the castle there in Arson. Oh, Ray got one. He's up to 486. That means Rick needs 2. Oh, okay. Hi. I have a good friend that lives in Venlo. Yeah, right there at the airport, Ray, in Honolulu. They've got inside the airport. They actually have a koi pond, and there's a koi farm. A friend of mine owns in like the central portion of Oahu, up just south of where all the pineapple plantations are. Lynn's at 110. All right, I'm at what 235 or so, something like that. Well, for the record, those fish that you're looking at on my screen right now are 30 inches. Eyes at 303. Bernard, I actually thought my oldest was going to go to law school. But she had a job with Marriott and opted to stay working for them. So, and after she had 20 years in with them and retired. Right now she's the manager for the gift shop of a bourbon or a distillery in Kentucky. Can they do backflips like Shanu? No. They'll come and eat out of your hand though. The oldest one in there is 6 years old. Most of them are 4. Well, Joe, you're past me. Well, they're all named Bernard, and besides, it's too expensive to barbecue them. Well, you're gonna be that way, huh, Heath? All right. Just for the record, I've had more trophies than I can count. All right. Most of which have been thrown in the trash over the years. But there just happens to be one trophy item right here. Right there. That's Grand Champion. Steve and Cheryl Childers, Grand Champion. So, satisfied, Heath? We'll go back to that page. Thank you. Hi. Aren't we supposed to be talking about trains? You know, a koi is nothing more than a highly inbred common carp. That's all it is. You can go to a marina. A lot of marinas, lakes have carp in them, and at a marina, you know, people feed the fish, and carp tend to congregate there. And if you look at them, you will see maybe a red scale on one, or a blue scale on another, or, you know, a white scale, whatever. And all the Japanese rice farmers did was they raised these things in rice paddies for additional protein. And they would keep the ones that had color because they were pretty. And they would use those as the breeders. And over hundreds and hundreds of years, the colors mutations came out through the inbreeding process. So yeah, I do have the camera on the fish, don't I, Ray? Switch that camera then. There we go. Well, we still got the camera on fish, don't we? There. Yes, Rick, they ate the ugly ones. Actually, they sold the ugly ones, most of them, as food fish. Pine floaters, a toothpick, and a glass of water. Okay. Yeah, you can. Carp are bony. All right. But if you cook them in a pressure cooker, then you can eat the bones. Yeah, it is mush. And they're mush because they're pressure cooked most of the time. Boy, are a myrrh carp? No, they're Cyprio carpio. Or Carpio Cyprio, something like that. Common carp. Yeah, tilapia is another one that I don't particularly care for. It's all mush. Heath is Googling again. All right, we got one more mail call. This is the third, but notice I had 4 mail trains on the cover. So, as I mentioned, this has all been about those bi-level commuter cars. Okay, because that's the project I'm getting into as soon as I'm wrap up Aurora. Okay, those bi-level commuter cars there in the picture, and I've been meaning Steve 87 PSAP is the only one that caught the fact that these are have the Amtrak stripe on them. Amtrak didn't have these cars, at least not in Chicago. But anyway, so I got to strip that stripe off. And Ray, yes, 90%, 99. I have 99% IPA, so that's what I'm going to be using to strip it off. And I learned that trick from Everett Junction. He's got this vat of IPA, big glass jar, and he'll take the shell that he wants to strip the paint off and just drop it in that, and it strips it off, and 24 hours later. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do. So, but anyway, and then I want to detail these things. I want to get rid of that stripe, repaint them silver, all right, and then detail them. Paint the seats because they all have seats in them, and I want to detail the seats. Paint those up and so forth, and then add seated figures in there. I already mentioned this earlier. I already got enough for one car, maybe. But then I want them lighted. All right, and these Kato cars, passenger cars, they already have the metal pickups, the wheel pickups, and everything already in them. As a matter of fact, the cab coach on the end of the train has the not only red marker lights, it's also got the white, clear, whatever you want to do, headlights. Okay, because those are designed to go in reverse as well. So I want to put lighting in the cars, and so I ordered 4 of Kato's passenger car light kits. Okay, And they had 5 available. Okay, all I need is 4. And it had a date. It was due to arrive today. Okay. And lo and behold, one arrived yesterday. Okay. Um, the other 3, again, keep in mind, this was overnight. It was supposed to arrive the next day. And I ordered these on Wednesday, and this one arrived yesterday. Cool. But they all were supposed to, all 4 of them were supposed to arrive, not just one. The other 3 are still in transit. Okay. And at the time of putting this live stream, scheduling this live stream, it would have made for 4 mail trains. The notification now is 2 are arriving tomorrow by 10 o'clock from San Francisco, and 1 is on a different train or whatever coming from Sacramento. So, I mean, my career was in distribution, so I understand how things work, and the Amazon model of distribution is they don't keep everything in every distribution center. And this is from a third-party seller, if I'm not mistaken, sellers. So all 4, 2 are coming from one place, and the other 2 are coming from 2 other places. So anyway, that's my other little rant. Again, one of them, they kept their promise. It did arrive the next day. But they all were supposed to and didn't. But that's here nor there. Dynamite's hard to come by these days. I didn't try to make an omelet before chicken laid the egg. I'm not ready to work on those cars. I always get all of my supplies for a project ahead of time. I try not to even start something until I have everything. So I won't be starting those bi-level cars till late next week. Well, maybe. We'll see. So that was my last mail call for today and my last rant, unless you guys get me fired up again about something else. Go ahead, make my day. All right, John. You have a great weekend yourself. I'm going to turn a train or 2 on. I hope all my bridges. Just... All right, now I got trains going. If I don't wreck something. Yeah, I think I did. Something's off the track. Just don't know what. Oh, that one. All right. Ouch. All right, Heath. Have fun at your meeting. All right. That one. Okay. There we go. All right. I haven't run trains in a live stream for a long time. Well, go eat, Joe. So I take it how you got your furnace all fixed. Now it's just a matter of getting the layout running again. Roll. I had one uncouple. I think I'm missing a spring out of that. That coupler. I'll take a look at it later. All right, Rick, you take care. Ooh, that reminds me, Rick, I got to call Carol today. All right, well, I'm going to cut it short, guys, because I do have, I got to call Caboose Stop Hobbies and arrange for getting my stuff. So, with that, hey, thanks, everybody, for joining in to the Retirement Railroad Friday Live and a mail call. Y'all have a great day. Bye now.